Cruising out of the pocket, dumps one off. It is caught at the goal line, reaching it out is Kuithe. He's got the touchdown.
Let me know if you ready to get dollars, holla, cause we wildin' out. If you want it ready, steady, go.
Up the seam for Kuithe in stride. He's got it out to midfield.
That's the way of a survivor, man. Lace up your boots cause the race is on. Ain't no one
Down the middle, caught, touchdown. And that's number 80 again.
I put that on everything I love. Sweat and blood, but the best is to come.
Gosh, that's a great question. I don't know if I've ever been asked that. Like, what is the it factor?
The It Factory is back for season 2. Last season, we explored what the It Factory is, who has it, and how they got it. This season, we still seek to answer the same questions, but with a new cast of characters. We take the helmet off some of the new faces in the Conference of Champions, and some familiar faces as well. Players, coaches, and experts will explore what it is that sets them up for success on Saturdays. I'm Yogi Roth, and welcome back to the It Factory. Okay, welcome back, or welcome to the It Factory presented by Zayo. I'm your host, Yogi Roth, and we are fully into the off season, and you know what day it is. It's Valentine's Day. So I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are. Maybe you and your partner are snuggled up watching today's show. Because today I get to pseudoly, at least digitally, snuggle up with Brant Kuithe. Yes, one of the top playmakers in the entire world of college football. Coming back to Utah for another season. Utah fans, you've known this for a while now. I know you're excited. And Brant, of course, also recovering from an injury he suffered against Arizona State last year. But he's been one of my favorite guys since he came out of high school, under-recruited, finds his way to Utah and Salt Lake City, and has been thriving ever since. So with that, Brant, thank you. Finally, man, we got you. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so are we. So happy Valentine's Day. Any
Happy
big
Valentine's
plans for
Day,
you?
too. No, probably just sit in my room and play with my dog, honestly.
I love that. I love that. Fun fact for Valentine's Day for me, it's always notable because I moved out to California on Valentine's Day in 2004. So it's a little bit of an anniversary for me here in Southern California. So I'm going to take that in over the course of our conversation. Let's talk about moving, though. You moving to Salt Lake City. What led you to go do that and now call it home, coming back for another season?
Yeah, me and my brother, we weren't the most recruited out of high school, but originally committed to Rice University, and they fired their head coach. They were having a lot of problems in their program. They kind of still are, and we decommitted. We had some options, but decided to come up here for our first official visit, and that's the only official visit we took. I fell in love with the mountains. Just the family aspect and the whole culture around the whole program, fell in love with it, and we said, why not? Committed, and been here going on 5 years ever since.
Wow. Yeah, seriously. And then you, of course, you've talked about this before, but when you went there, you fell in love with the mountains, the scenery, the program, and then you just chose recently to come on back for another season versus, right now you could be preparing to go to the combine. You were invited to it. You would have gone through all the interviews. Wouldn't have done a lot of the physical stuff, obviously. But what about the community led you to come on back and say, hey, I want to do it again?
Yeah, community is a huge part, and I would say the team too. We have a lot of guys coming back, leaving, new guys coming in, a lot of fresh faces every single year, but just the staff has kind of stayed the same, and we always have a common goal, and love to go back-to-back Pac-12 championships, go to the Rose Bowl, and it just has not ended the way we wanted to. Haven't won a bowl game since I've been here. It's been, 5 years, and it sucks, but we have an opportunity next year to go even further than what we've always wanted to do, and first is get myself right and anybody else that's not healthy, get them healthy, and get this team going. And our main goal is win the first game, but also win Pac-12 championship and go to the playoffs. And that's our goal. And that's kind of one of the things that was pushing me to come back. My injury was definitely a part to play in it, just because I wasn't going to be able to do much of the combine. I was pretty much just going to do interviews and get physicals done and not be able to do much. And I think that would have hindered where I would have gone in the draft. If I would have gotten drafted, not sure. And especially the community. We're at the Rose Bowl, and I was sitting there, and there's a bunch of sections saying one more year, and just kind of things like that kind of just motivated me. It was like, wow, okay, well, I already made my decision prior to the Rose Bowl, but it just kind of just made me feel even better about the decision I made. And once I posted it, I was ready to go and happy I got it over with.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. The muss, giving them love, hooking it up. All right, so we'll come back to that. Put a pin in that. But I want to go back to like the young you. What was life growing up? Because you referenced your brother. You're a twin.
Yeah.
What is that like growing up as a twin? And I'd imagine a highly competitive household.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up playing sports from a little age. We were always competitive. No matter what, even if we played different positions on the same side of the ball, separate side, didn't even really matter. We were always competitive, trying to see how we can outdo the other person, but also just cheering each other on. But yeah, it was super competitive life. We're always doing sports, never much time to really do anything else. And I mean, I could say the work paid off, but in his part, I think 6, 7 surgeries later, he had to medically DQ, and obviously it didn't go the way he wanted it to, but it's weird. We don't get to choose what we do in life and what happens to us. We just have to go with it, and it only makes us stronger.
Yeah. So what was it like with your parents? Like, how did they cultivate you guys to have that attitude that you just referenced of, you got to deal with adversity when it shows up unannounced, unexpected at times, but also cultivate the competitive essence within you and your family?
Yeah, my dad played college football, played in the league for 1 year, and things like that. You kind of look up to it and say, I want to do that, but I want to go even further. And to play at a high level, especially the University of Utah, it's a great honor and a privilege. But at the same time, to be able to make plays and continuously make plays, it just makes you feel better. But at the same time, growing up, he was always hard on us. He was always one of our coaches, which every year we're like, we have to deal with this again. But it is what it is. He made us into the person that we are today. No matter where we are in life, you can take these skill sets from a young age to what I'm 23 now, and you're always still learning, and those things you can take on with you throughout your whole life. And the great thing about their relationship, my parents, was my mom was loving, my dad was hard. And that's kind of a balance that, yeah, you kind of want both loving parents, but at the same time, I wouldn't be the person I am today without my dad and my mom. And when it comes to the sports side, competitive side, my dad brings it out of me, and he kind of brought it to play growing up and implemented, no matter if it was hard on us, doing the things that was necessary for us to get tough and all those things. And he did it, and whether or not I liked it or not, I am the person I am today, and I can't thank him enough.
All right, I love these conversations because there's a lot of athletes like yourselves that have athletic families and parental figures that impacted their lives. So I'm a young parent, and our oldest is an athlete, our baby. I'd like to think he might be an athlete. He's still a little young to probably give him a true evaluation. But with that said, like, what's your earliest memory of dad coaching you up and challenging you, pushing you, nudging you, encouraging you to continue to develop?
Yeah, I just remember, that's hard. There's so many moments because he's been a coach for so long, but I just remember in high school, it was my junior year, we went to the state semifinals. And after, I think, the second or third round of the playoffs, our team could never go past the second round. And we won second or third round, and my dad gave me a hug, and I was like, wow, this is weird. I normally didn't hug my dad, and things like that. He was so proud of us and the things that we've accomplished. And from early on, yeah, it was hard. We had so many arguments. Didn't want to go to practice sometimes because he would be there, and knowing that he was going to be tough on us, and things like that, where you sit there and, okay, well, maybe I didn't like it at the time, but then you look in retrospective and you come to appreciate those little things, as if he was yelling at us, he was doing all these things, but there was a reason why he was doing it. And maybe we didn't see it at the time, but now if you look at it now, it's like, okay, well, I'm still in a position where I can compete at a high level, at a school that competes at a high level, and I can't say it was just me. He played a role in it, and so did my brother, because I wouldn't be here without him too.
When did you fall in love with football?
Ooh. I'd probably say in third grade. So I was an offensive lineman when I first started playing because they didn't let me run the ball. It was kind of daddy ball when I first started because the head coach's son would always get the ball, and I was sitting there. I think I was like a guard or something, and they let me return a punt or something. I scored a touchdown on it, and he was like, "Wow, he can run." I was like, "Well, I'm only like 90 something pounds. Like these guys are like 120, 130 fat linemen, and I'm sitting there trying to block them. Like obviously I should not be down in the trenches, but that first touchdown I scored, I was like, wow, maybe this sport is for me. As I was growing up, it was a little bit difficult. I wasn't a guy that was always so great. You have to work for it. And as I grew up, I kind of fell in love with the game more and more each year. And when I got to high school, just become kind of part of me. And ever since, I just haven't been able to let go.
I don't know if you have ever heard this phrase. One of my favorite phrases is called the wonder switch. And it's all about like how your wonderment and imagination in football or in sport can just flourish, right? So maybe it was when you scored that touchdown, all of a sudden your wonderment went off. You're like, whoa, I can do this. And I imagine myself doing it on the biggest of stages. So I'm going to compete to go make that happen. And on the flip side, sometimes that wonder switch gets turned off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not playing. I got injured. I'm struggling. My dad's on me too much, like whatever it may be. So if you agree with that, in that assessment, like has your wonder switch ever been turned off if that day was the day that it was in fact flipped on?
Yeah, I mean, the past couple of years, I've kind of been kind of sleepwalking. No matter how well I played, I kind of wasn't in love with the game. College football kind of has a way of making you realize that because it's such a business, and especially with NIL nowadays, you realize how much money is getting flown in. It's everywhere, and it kind of makes you not fall in love with the game anymore because all the things you have to do. And with me getting injured, it puts things in perspective a lot. You sit there and you're not the number one guy anymore. You sit there, no one's talking to you. It humbles you real quick, and it makes you realize, okay, do I still love this game enough to want to play more? And going through an injury like I did, you have a lot of time to think. You sit there in your bed for hours, days, and you wonder, and you sit there on the TV watching your guys play, and you're like, wow, okay, well, this sucks. And then finally we can go into the stadium. You're not suiting up, you're not playing, you sit there on the sideline, and I'm not used to that. And over the whole season, I had a lot of time to think, and I kind of fell in love with the game again. And just the little things, as if just being with the guys and just also playing the game. I miss watching film. There's so many things in the Rose Bowl. I was hurt. I wanted to play so bad, and watching Penn State and how they were against us, I knew I could have made a difference, and it sucks, but there's a reason why I'm in this position, and reason why I'm getting tested and all those things. So I wouldn't trade it, and I love that it happened to me because now I've learned a lot of things, and I'm just ready to get going, just want to get healthy and want to get back on the field.
That's cool, man. I remember seeing you on the sideline of the Oregon State game last year, which was the week after you got injured. And you could see that was a new experience for you to ever go through it. And I love that you acknowledge like the idea of the wonder switch, because I think when I talk to locker rooms a lot about it, the reminder is that it can get turned off by a lot of externals, an injury, social media, fan base, coaching staff, playing time, whatever. But the only way it gets turned back on is by you. Like you get to flip that. So I wonder now, like, since you began to attack your rehab in the manner that you have, like, do you remember that every day? Like, is that in your forefront of like, man, I can't wait to just run a drive route, run a go route, pat and go, whatever, just to be around this craft that I love?
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of sit there, and guys were testing the other day, and I'm like, I just want to do something. Like I only can do the bike. There's certain things I can't do yet. And you sit there and you're kind of jealous at the fact that guys can do all these things, but you just got to have patience because everyone's on a different timeline, and I can't compare myself to someone else that's in a different position. And I'm going through this for a reason, and I just kind of have to go with it and just attack my rehab as if I'm on the field. And I kind of have to put my energy towards that. And no matter what, I can't rush myself to get back on the field, or something else may happen. And it is what it is. But I'm just excited and just honestly really motivated just to get back. And I have some time left, and I have a lot of time just to get myself right. The season's not until another, I couldn't even tell you, 7 months, 8 months. But it's a lot of time, and a lot of time to focus on myself and get this team better and see what we are capable of next year.
Yeah, I love that. You in high school, you were running back though. You're a really talented one. What was recruiting like for you? You came out of a state that flourishes with high school talent. You referenced earlier that you were lightly recruited. Curious how that has added to your personality, if it's added to your drive, and is it something that you still recall and or use as fuel?
Yeah, I actually remember in high school, a lot of the guys that were getting all the offers, I was like, why am I not getting any of those? I feel like I'm way better than them. My stats speak for itself. I'm going against guys that have 20 plus offers, and I'm sitting here probably with like 5 to 10, which it's more than, if you put things in perspective, it's more than a lot of guys have. So you kind of have to be grateful for that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I should be getting offered from this big school, and they don't want me because of why. I'm a big running back, and my brother we want to go play together, and that was kind of hindering on his part because a lot of schools wanted him, but they didn't want me. And that's kind of what we had to deal with. And I didn't really care. Once I got here, it was just motivating, a chip on my shoulder, because they didn't really have much expectations for me at this university. And I was like, hey, well, this is my time to kind of make my own road and kind of build myself up, because I was like a 6th-string tight end. And the only way I could actually get on the field is, all right, prove to them what I'm capable of and what my skill set is. And from day one, I was doing that with one-on-ones and all those things. And any guy that sits there and says, there are politics in this game, but if your play speaks for itself and you continuously make plays, they have to put you on the field, and that's what it was. I started playing more and more in my freshman year, and continue with that chip on your shoulder as if, okay, well, you're playing against this team and they didn't offer you. They might have looked at you and they kind of walked away. Okay, I'm going to prove them why they should have offered me, and I'm going to go put up 100 yards on them. And it's things like that where you sit there and you're like, okay, well, it's cool, but let's do it again the next week. And again, how about next year? Like, it's things like that where it motivates you. And I kind of lost that for a little bit. And then with me getting injured, it kind of just re-sparked, and I'm just ready to go. I feel like I could play another 20 more years, but who knows? It's not up to me. It's up to other people. But the only thing I can do is go to work.
Yeah. So what was it like? You know, you're a twin here, but the colleges, the first person they're asking you to talk to when they call your house is not you, it's your brother. And knowing that you were going to be a package deal, but he was the driver in a lot of those dialogues.
I didn't mind it just because it would give me an opportunity to get into the building. It did suck because everyone's always wanting to be wanted, and I felt that a little bit, but not as much. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter. I'm on to my 5th year, and I feel like things have gone great. And no matter if they really wanted me or if they did, it doesn't really matter. Only time will tell. And I've made a lot of plays here, and hopefully I make more. And I don't really care about who are they calling, who are they wanting. That was, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So that's all in the past. But yeah, definitely puts a chip on your shoulder and makes you want to work even harder. And also with my brother not being able to play anymore, you kind of want to play for him. I thought he was always the better player, and he just kind of got bad luck and had so many injuries, a lot of surgeries. And I don't want that to sit there and be like, okay, well, I'm only doing this for myself, because I know he wishes he could play football too. So why not play for him, and let's see what we can do.
Yeah. What is it like after a game? Because your brother's still in Salt Lake City, to my knowledge. Like, I'd imagine you'd spend time together, especially when you were healthy after a game and you play well. What's his role now in your life, and what's your role in his? Yeah,
honestly, it's weird because being twins, we're always with each other 24/7, live together, and now we're separate. He works a job from like 7 to 6. So he works a lot, and I don't really see him as much. After games, depending on what time it is, I'll see him for a little bit. We'll go eat if my parents are here and stuff. But honestly, right after games, I go to sleep. I don't see him as much as I would like to or used to, but that's kind of with life. And we've known each other, been with each other for so long. We don't have to see each other every day. We kind of know what's going on in each other's lives. And yeah, I mean, there's always more room to grow and see each other, but at the same time, he has his own life and things that he's wanting to do, and I do too. And finding that balance to see each other, we always see each other every now and then, but we don't have to see each other every day because he works so hard and I work, and I don't want to get into his life and make him even more tired because his life is stressful as it is wherever he works. So yeah, I mean, it works, and he tries to motivate me as much as he can, but he knows that we've been playing this game for so long. We know what each other thinks, and just it's going great so far. Sucks I got injured, but he had the same injuries, and he's been able to kind of show me the way and kind of give me some tips. But at the end of the day, everybody's surgery is different. Everybody's injury is different. You go through different things. There's different nagging, little small pains. So you kind of have to learn from it yourself, but take those little tips from him that he had to go through and see how you can get better from it.
What's your best twin story?
I don't know. Put me on the spot, but a lot of times I wouldn't say the best story, but I would say just common thing that happens is anywhere I go, back in the day when he was actually playing, or even back home, I was always getting called Blake because we kind of have the same voice, but he's bigger than me. And some people thought we looked alike, but every single time we would go somewhere, people would think I was him. And I was like, okay, well, that's not bad. He's big, so I don't mind it. But every single time we would always get mixed up, and we don't look alike. We're fraternal. So those are little things every single day where I'm like, you're my teacher that I see every single day, and you're calling me Blake. Come on. You should know my name by now. It's been 3 months. But yeah, things like that where I don't miss, but I miss at the same time because it was awesome just because we were always with each other, and I kind of miss those days.
I wanted to ask you a couple of those questions because I'm a big fan of the phrase, prove yourself right versus proving other people wrong. But I believe that the latter can be a driver, right? It can drive you. I was a walk-on. It drove me to get a scholarship, right? I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. But I lost a lot of the joy in the craft, in that pursuit. For you, where do you net out as a suitably under-recruited guy? I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to prove Baylor wrong in week 2, for instance. Or have you made that transition to, I'm going to prove myself right here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of at a point where the first couple of years was like that, playing teams that maybe recruited you but didn't offer you, and you want to prove them wrong. I played Texas my second year, and it was awesome. We still lost, but it was nice to be able to make plays against them because they didn't offer me. But it comes to a point now where it's like, I don't really care what other teams are about. It's just about kind of the work that I put in coming to fruition. And now that I'm injured, I'm just focused on getting myself back and proving to myself that I'm still the same person, but even better. And that just comes with time. And I'm not worried about what other people are doing in other programs, what other people doing in their lives, because it kind of puts too much stress on me, and there's no point. I'm more focused on what's going on in my life and the things I can control, and kind of leaving the things I can't control just to whatever happens. And it's going well so far, and it keeps me from not getting too stressed out or anxious or whatever you may call it. It just keeps me kind of level-headed and says, okay, well, things aren't going to happen like that. I can't think a month or 2 months ahead or a couple of weeks. I got to think about, okay, how can I get better today, get some sleep tonight, and do the same thing tomorrow and see how I can get better tomorrow.
Yeah, I got to imagine that mindset bleeds over to this year's locker room with so many key vets coming back. So paint a picture. Like, how would you describe the modality, the mentality of the locker room now at the University of Utah?
Yeah, it's weird. Every year there's new faces, but there's a lot of new guys in this program. I don't know how many new guys there are, but There's a good amount, and there's a lot of guys that I don't know, and there's maybe I think like 2 or 3 guys from my class that are still here, and I feel like a Brant Kuithe by now because I'm getting old. It's going to be my 6th year, and it's crazy to think about. I didn't think I was going to be here for this long, but God chose me to be here, so might as well make the most of it. But yeah, I mean, everyone's motivated and hungry. Back-to-back Pac-12 championships, back-to-back Rose Bowls, and we lost those. So it's really motivating. It's not sit there and say, oh, yeah, we should be here. Yeah, we should be here, but the work starts now. We're not Pac-12 championship. We're not Pac-12 champions for next year. It was last year. So we kind of have to keep that chip on our shoulder. All these new guys, we're not going to become them. They're going to become us, just like what Coach Witt says. And we just got to go to work every single day. And I have high expectations for this next team this year. Have some guys coming back that are key leadership roles, and just kind of got to keep it going because these new guys, they know what we're about, but they really don't know. And these next couple weeks and couple months, they're going to realize that, and they're going to get into the flow of things with this program. And we're all about winning here. Haven't won a bowl game in 5 years though, and that's my biggest thing. We always praise about winning bowl games, and we haven't won one in 5 years, and that's the biggest thing. No matter what, yeah, we have 2 rings from conference championship, but I want a postseason ring, and I haven't gotten one. And that's my biggest motivation right now, and getting myself right first and foremost, but we're focused on the playoffs now, and we got to win game 1, go 1-0 each week, but that's our main focus, and we're trying to get to it.
It seems like this team's got a last dance vibe to it, with you and Cam Rising and Thomas Yasmin, among others who've chosen to return. Did you feel that in the building here as the offseason has begun? Yeah,
somewhat. Yeah, we're just trying to work and get back healthy for the most part. But yeah, this is my last season, a lot of guys' last season, and I don't know how they're going to be after this, but this is our last chance to finally make a run at what we've always been wanting to do. Last year, yeah, we were focused on making the playoffs, but we couldn't make it. Had too many losses, had too many injuries, but that comes with every single program, and you can't make excuses. But our main focus is getting everybody healthy and go and win, because that's our main priority, and getting these guys ready to go for this next season, because we're going to have injuries next year, just like any other program, but we can be as good as we want to be. We just have to go and put in the work.
So back in the day, we used to have this documentary series called The Drive on the Pac-12 networks. I'm not sure if you remember it, but we followed Utah for an entire season. And my favorite line as a producer of that series, among, I think we did 8 or 9 seasons, was from your head coach. And he said, quote, "You're either in or you're in the way." And I love that for a variety of reasons. But I got to imagine right now, like, you're in, and also so in on helping a guy like Cam Rising recover from the injury we saw in the Rose Bowl. What do you see your role right now for him, as he's always known as the captain and the alpha leader, etc. But you've gone through this injury thing, and now he's back into that injury thing that he's seen before and rehabbing in advance of the season.
Yeah, the only thing I can do is be there and support him, and try and help him any way, and whatever happens to him or whatever he's going through, I can just be there and just help him, be with him every step of the way, and see if I can give him any tips to get himself better. But yeah, knowing him and how competitive he is and the work ethic he has, we'll be ready to go by season. But the only thing I can do is be there to support him and see what I can do as far as the team goes, and because no one's ever above the team, and see how I can help him, because he's going to get back. He's going to start doing what he can do, and these guys need leaders in this program, and a lot of young guys are stepping up and being leaders. I love seeing that. A lot of times in this program, it's more about the older guys, and okay, well, the older guys, these are the captains, or these are the leaders, and the younger guys don't have to talk. A lot of the younger guys are stepping up, and it's great to see that, because it's always been a player-run program. If the coaches have to lead, then we're not going to be a good team. All the great programs, all the players run the program, and so far it's going so well. I'm loving the work ethic. A lot of these freshmen don't understand what it's like in college football and the workouts, so they're getting acclimated into how it is here, and it's not like a lot of other programs. We're going to work hard, and a lot of times you're going to feel like you're dying, but it just makes you better. And when you get into the season, we can go forever, and a lot of these teams can't. So it's going well so far, and everyone's going to surround Cam and get him back to 110% better than he was before. And I'm just excited for this next season, but can't look too far ahead. I'm just excited for today and how I can get better.
Okay, so Kyle Whittingham and I spoke at the Rose Bowl, and he talked about relationships and how he really has enjoyed developing them with players, much like yourself. How would you characterize his impact on you and relationship with him?
Yeah, I just think how he runs the program and how you see him every single day. You may see from the outside, if you see him at practice, that he might be hard on all of us. He might be whatever you may call him. The little things I see is after games and he's with his family. This game is never too big enough for anybody, and no matter what, he doesn't let that get in front of his family. His family's here after practices, playing with his grandkids and those things like that, which I sit there and say, okay, well, football is not his whole life. His family is very important to him, and that's kind of things you see and you want to implement into your life whenever you have a family. And it's awesome to see because you see it around the whole coaching staff. These guys really do care about their families, and they care about the players. A lot of times in college football, they don't. It's all about money, and you see it everywhere. Here too, it's not like every single coaching staff is perfect, but he tries to implement to where, okay, family's important, take care of your guys in the room, because these kids are 18 years old, coming from high school, leaving their homes thousands of miles away, and they need people in their lives that they can look up to and they can respect, they can ask for guidance, they can do all those things. And these coaches, Coach Witt always says, we're like a family, and anything you need, you ask. And that's one of the biggest things I learned from him is family is everything. And you come to appreciate it. When you first get into the program, it's hard because you kind of thrown out into your own, and you got to learn how to grow up. But you grow up real quick, and you learn that these guys beside you are really important, and they're just as if family. Just like the one you grew up all your life, these guys are going to be here for however long you are, but you're here with them every single day grinding, and you call them your brothers at the end of the day.
Yeah, I got some old teammates coming to visit me this week, and there's nothing like college football teammates. Like it is true. Like that is a family for, I'm 20 years since I played, man, and still so connected. Even if it's been 20 years since I've seen my quarterback, it's going to be like yesterday, and I'm probably going to make him throw routes to me out the street. With that said, hey, NIL is a big deal, as you said earlier, and college football is changing. You do like a weekly radio hit with our friend Bill Riley and ESPN in Salt Lake City. Like, when football's done, or even as you're playing, like, is media your thing? Have you fallen in love with having a mic in front of your face now, or do you have another idea of something you want to do in addition to being one of the most prolific tight ends, wide receivers in the country?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always interested to do things like that. It's awesome to be able to talk. I don't know much about other sports. I mean, I watch other sports, but I don't know if I could cover other sports unless I'm like doing this full time. But it's something that is very interesting. I don't mind talking, and especially on Bill Riley's show, we have a lot to talk about. We always have a good time, and I like when it's just natural flowing. Right when I got injured, I had to do it over the phone, and it sucked. I like being in the station doing it because I feel like I'm on radio instead of, hey, he's going to put you on in a couple minutes. So I'm like, I don't want to be on my phone in the facility, because then I sit there, I get off topic, and then I start looking at things, and the conversations aren't as good and aren't as genuine. But yeah, I love it. I could see myself going to the field after I'm done playing football, or even during it. I wouldn't mind being on TV, all those things. It's cool. I got a communications degree. Not sure how much it's helped, but it's definitely played a part in it, and I don't mind doing this. I do enjoy it, and I love just talking sports in general and football.
I love that. All right, well, I've enjoyed this. This is our last segment. We call it the Final Five. My final 5 questions. First thought that comes to mind when I ask you these questions. Question number 1, Brant Kuithe. What is the best advice you've ever received?
Ooh, I would definitely say, like I said earlier, putting things in perspective is huge. You can't sit there and be like, okay, well, why am I getting this, or why am I doing this? All those questions that you're asking yourself, put it in someone else's shoes and realize, okay, well, I have a lot better than most people. If you're making $20 and someone's making 10, put that in perspective. You know, all those things, I get to be able to play this game at a high level. I'm going to put that in perspective as if someone else that I grew up with who was good at football, but maybe they went to a JUCO and they don't play football anymore. Putting everything in perspective makes you appreciate things a lot more, whether it's the game, your life, any aspect that it involves doing anything. Always put things in perspective, because it'll always humble you and make you feel a lot better about things, and say, okay, well, maybe I don't have it as bad as other people. Because you can't really become selfish and too high up, because if I sit there and be like, okay, well, why am I not doing as much? Why am I not doing this? Well, there's people that can't even do it, you know, and those are the biggest things. And just put things in perspective, and you'll honestly be a lot happier in life.
Worst advice you've ever received is what?
Worst advice. I would say the worst advice I've ever received was taking advice from other people that aren't surrounded by you. Taking outside noise and saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to take that advice from someone that I don't know. Those are the things where I'm like, okay, well, why would I take advice from someone that isn't in my position? And maybe it has nothing to do with my life. Maybe they say, okay, well, you need to do this more. Okay, well, how do you know I need to do this more? I don't even know you, you know, and you're looking from an outsider's perspective, and you're not walking in my shoes. You're not with me every single day. You haven't seen me every week. So why would I take advice from you? Yeah, I remember someone told me that. It was like, oh yeah, anybody gives you advice, just take it in and really use it. It's like, well, what if I think your advice is not good? You know, it's like, it is what it is, but I think it comes with trust, but that's probably one of the worst advice I've ever gotten.
Number 3, Valentine's Day. Your go-to and/or what would you tell somebody is a impressive Valentine's Day gift to offer?
I would just say a nice dinner, honestly. I love food. That's the thing. I love to cook, but I don't like to clean. So if anybody's willing to clean, but yeah, honestly, just a really good meal. I don't care about going do other things. People want to go like rollerblading, ice skating. I'm good. I don't really want to do that. I'm cool with like eating a good meal and watching a good movie. That's my go-to Valentine's Day if I had one.
I love that. Sounds like a fun February night in Salt Lake City. Number 4, the title of this show is The It Factory. I believe the it factor is a phrase that is overused, often undefined, but everybody has it. You clearly have it, Brant. So how would you define your own it factor?
I think that just varies on the person. I just think the way I grew up, how I was raised, the way I play the game, the perspective on life, my attitude towards things, I would say that's an it factor. Everyone's can be different depending on how they were raised, the way they brought up in life, all those things, depending on what they do best is their it factor. And I think it just encompasses everything, my attitude and my work ethic, my drive. Yeah, we all fall short of a lot of things that we know we should do, but the great thing about life is we can make it up, and there's an unlimited time, but there's enough time where you can change things around. And I've been blessed with an opportunity, either it's good or bad, that I get to sit here and get better and however I can. And I'm just blessed to have that opportunity to be able to do that, and just to be on the show and talk to you. Things like that I didn't think I was going to be able to do 5 years ago. So just putting things in perspective and enjoying my time while I can, you know?
Love that. Finally, you've been through a lot in your life. Coached by your dad, former running back, former offensive lineman. You find your way to Utah. You've had ups and downs from 6th string to 1st string. You lost 2 teammates in the process. You've seen highs. You've lived lows. How would you finish the following sentence? It all comes down to
your attitude. Because it's all about a mindset. Has nothing to, that's the biggest thing. All these outside noise and other people trying to make you feel a certain way, all those things that happen throughout your life, it makes you into the person you are, but your attitude is your biggest thing. You can walk around moping and sad and all those things, but you're not going to be happy. You're not going to do the things you want to do, and it's your attitude. You wake up every single day and you say, okay, well, those things happen. I'm going to play for them, but how can I get better today, and how can I impact someone's life and make their life better? And attitude, I think, is the biggest thing.
Love that. Well, your attitude has been awesome on this show. Thank you for creating the space and time to be a part of the It Factory, man. I've loved everything about you since the moment I watched your huddle highlight film coming out of the state of Texas, in Katy, Texas, that little town, to now here in Salt Lake City. Congrats on everything. Wishing you the absolute best on what we might start calling the last dance for some of you guys up in Utah.
Why not? Thank you, Yogi. Appreciate it. It was awesome being on here.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. There it is. Brant Kuithe. Make sure you check him out on social media. He always has great content. Listen to him every week with our good friend, Bill Riley. And make sure you are locked in right here on the It Factory podcast. To watch this, make sure you go to pack-12.com/insider for this episode and past episodes. And wherever you listen to podcasts, we are there. Just type in the It Factory and Yogi Roth will pop right up. And finally, lastly, tonight, if nothing else on Valentine's Day, cook yourself or your loved ones a nice dinner, kick back and watch a movie, get nice and cozy, and take the advice of one of the top tight ends in America, Brant Kuithe. With that, happy Valentine's Day. Peace.